thanks again for coming out. I'm Garrison McMurtry. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at AAA Minneapolis. And I want to just thank you all for coming out. This is our first in a series of community forums that we're going to be having here at AAA Minneapolis. Just a great way to open our doors to the community, make sure that we have citizens and members and business leaders come out and really discuss different things pertaining to transportation-related topics along this corridor. And we're so honored to have you guys to come out to our first meeting, which will be covering the Hwy 100 construction. So tonight I'll give you a brief rundown of what we're going to be doing and the people who will be speaking, and then they'll come up and we'll open up a great dialogue. So we're going to have Bobby. She's Bobby Dalkey. She's the communications coordinator with MnDOT, and she's going to be coming up here tonight just to discuss not only Hwy 100, but a few other projects along this corridor that will be really important for you guys to know more about, so we can ensure that once this construction starts, people will be able to understand of alternate routes, of the different dates of lane closures, and et cetera. So she's going to come and discuss that. Now, Bobby's told me before that she is well expected to leave tonight being the most hated woman in all of Hennepin County. And that may be the case from what you hear tonight, but let's keep that Minnesota nice going, and let's make sure we have a nice, spirited, yet respectful dialogue. But we're excited to have you all here, and let's get things going. So thanks again for coming, and here's Bobby.
Well, thanks everybody for coming. My name is Bobby Dalkey, and I work for MnDOT. I am not an engineer. I'm not in programming. I'm not in planning. I am a communications person, and I am here today to tell you about a couple of projects that are happening in the western suburbs. The project is starting up this spring, and you know, and I thought, you know, well, there's a lot of other highways that feed into Hwy 100 and a lot of adjacent roads that people who think that they're going to get off Hwy 100 and go to a different road may not be able to do that. So again, a lot of different projects today. So I can do this, I can do it in two ways, since I'm sure a lot of you are here to learn about Hwy 100. I can talk the entire time about Hwy 100. But I think it is more to your benefit if you let me talk about some of the other projects that are happening as well. Tonight would be a great way for us to introduce people to projects that are happening on 12, 394, and Hwy 100, and 494 as well. And some of you are thinking, well, 494, that's way over there. I never go over there. Well, when Hwy 100 is down, you may, or you may not. And when Hwy 494, or when Interstate 494 is down, you may think you're coming this way, but you may not get there. So I'm here not to frighten you. I'm here to be very honest with you and to tell you what we're doing, very, very high level. If you want the details, if you want to look at maps and engineering maps, it is all online, and I encourage you to please go on there, grab yourself a magnifying glass because you're going to need it, and you can kind of see what the roads will look like at the end. I am just here to tell you pretty much today about the traffic impacts, high level what we're going to do, what the end results will be, and how you will be affected for the next couple of years. And I want to talk to you about how we communicate to you, how you're going to get information, and how that some of you can help us. 4 big projects. Hwy 100 rehabilitation. These are all really fancy words, and I'll explain what each one means in a couple of minutes. There's a project on 394, a resurfacing project. Hwy 12 auxiliary lane, and 494 a rehab, and we're adding a lane over there as well. So Hwy 100 is between 25th and a half Street and about I-494. Started out as 2 different projects. We are going to phase them out. So what we decided to do instead is, we hear a lot from people that are saying, you know what, just get it done. Just get the impacts, get the construction done. So that's exactly what we're doing. So the grunt of the work that you will see is up here around Highway 7 and Minnetonka Boulevard. But further to the south of that project, we'll bring a resurfacing project. What we don't know is if that'll start in 2015 or 2016. We're hoping 2015. And that's just a mill and overlay, and we don't know if we're going to do that at night, if we're going to have single lane closures, if we're going to push you to one side. We just haven't determined that yet, and we'll see how this project goes before we determine that. So do keep in mind that for the next couple of years, you will see construction between Berry Street and all the way down to 494. Okay. Hwy 100, you know, it's an extremely congested road. In 2005, we built out some of the shoulders to make lanes, and that was because of a project that we had on Crosstown. Since then, the road is extremely dilapidated, as well as the bridges. The Federal Highway has determined that the bridges on Minnetonka Boulevard and Highway 7 need to be repaired, and they need to be redecked or reconstructed by 2018. So we have to do those. They can't wait. The traffic on Highway 100 through that area on the red that you see, the average daily traffic is between 100 and 132,000 average cars per day. That's a lot of cars. Just to put that in perspective, the traffic counts on 494 over in Plymouth are about 86,000. So the difference here on Highway 100 is it just doesn't stop. It's all the time. We have that constant flow of traffic all the time. Whereas on some of the other interstates and the highways, it goes to the morning and then it slows down and it goes to the night. It doesn't here. We don't see those traffic patterns here. It's all the time, as I'm sure most of you know. We will reconstruct Highway 100 and the Highway 7 and Minnetonka Boulevard interchanges. That's the biggest bulk of the project. So what we're doing is we're replacing them. We're taking them down and we're rebuilding. It's not a redeck, we're rebuilding them. The picture far on the end kind of shows you what's there today and what it will look like at the very end. We're taking out that center pier. We're adding a lane underneath it, so it'll be 3 lanes underneath and that auxiliary lane between bridges. And you can just, even if you get, after the meeting, you can go up and look at it, but it just has a perception, it's just so much wider. It is so much wider to get through there right now. These bridges have been around forever, we talked about since the 1930s. Somebody here said much longer before that. And the issue is they're very, very close together. And it's not a safe issue it's not safe to put those 2 bridges that close together. We cannot move them someplace else. That's a lot of right-of-way. We displace a lot of homes. We disrupt a lot of traffic that way. So what we have to do is we have to do the best that we can with what we have. And what that is to widen underneath, add that lane, and put that auxiliary lane in there as well. The City of St. Louis Park has been talking with MnDOT about this project for, I say 12 years. If you ask the city, they say 25. So anywhere between those years. We've been talking about it for a long time. And as I said, to the south of the project, that's a resurfacing, and that's just a mill and overlay. Why are we doing this? To address the basic maintenance and repair needs of the bridges and the ramps, to improve the interchanges and the safety at Highway 7 and Minnetonka. And that is, again, because they are just so close together. There's not a lot of distance for you to get onto the highway, and you're also getting onto traffic that is just getting on at 7 or getting off at 7, and there's a lot of weaving in between there. So traffic comes to a screeching halt, or else you hit somebody. So we are putting these lanes in here to try and improve the traffic operations and the capacity and the mobility on Highway 100. And let's see. So the traffic impacts, here's the big one. If you travel between this route here, between Robbinsdale all the way down, let's say it takes you 10 minutes. It will take you 8 to 10 minutes or 8 to 10 times longer to get through there. If it takes you 20 minutes now to get through there, add that times 6. That's what it'll take you during construction. I'm not saying that to scare you, or I'm saying just to be very real, that's what it's going to be like during construction. So please plan for that. And that's during rush hour traffic, so it could be different during off-peak, but that's what pretty much we're expecting. We will have a total of 12 to 14 weekend closures on Highway 100. When we have those weekend closures, we close it down at the interstates, we close it down at 494, and we'll close it down to 62, so we will route everybody over to 169. This will be open for local traffic, so the people that live here and the businesses here they'll still be able to get them. But if you want to detour or bypass the construction, you'll have to take 169 around. Now we know that people are going to find their other ways around. We do know that. We're working closely with the city and the police department to try to monitor the traffic and the stuff that's going into the communities. We don't want to push people into communities, but we know that's what's going to happen. So any way that we can work with the community and work with the city to try to avoid that or try to mitigate it, we will do that. What we're going to do right away is in April of 2015 is we're going to drop the bridge, the Minnetonka Boulevard Bridge. That'll be the first one that we do. And that is expected to happen around Easter. If we can get in before, we won't do it on Easter weekend, and it'll be 2 consecutive weekend closures. So it'll happen either before and after Easter, or both after Easter. So that's if weather permits, and that is our plan. Easter is the 5th, so it would be the Friday after that, which is what, the 10th? So it'll be a Friday shutdown at like 10 p.m. and then reopen again on the following Monday at like 5 a.m.
Like the same schedule as I did for the railroad bridge.
That is exactly right. But the next 2 years, like I said, 10 to 14 of those closures, weekend closures. The first one that we have in April will be 2 back-to-back. So please keep that in mind. Through the winter, after 2015, we'll have three lanes of traffic in each direction. What we hope to do in 2015, weather permits, is to once we open up Minnetonka Boulevard, is to drop 7, the Highway 7 bridge, because we have work to do on top of the bridge, and we need to get that done before the spring of 2016. So if all goes well, that is our plan.
Excuse me, can you go back to the Cedar Trail point?
Yep.
That's the walking trail?
Yep, up the biking path up on, yep. We are reconstructing that. That'll stay open. It'll have periodic closures to move equipment back and forth, but we have no intentions of closing that. 2016 is the same scenario, several weekend closures. Whatever left of our 14 closures, it'll happen during this year. Highway 100 will be reduced to 2 lanes of traffic in one direction on the northbound side. So you will not have a barrier in between you. You'll have 2 lanes here and 2 lanes here going head to head. So traffic is going to be slow, considerably slow. The traffic it's going to be on one side of the road. Keep that in mind, without a barrier. So it'll be slower. And that's when we drop 2015-16 is when we drop 7. Yep, we're going to use the shoulders. We'll repair the shoulders. We'll move everybody there. There'll be 11-foot lanes.
When you say you're going to drop bridges, does that mean the bridges are going away?
Well, we're taking them down, yep, and rebuilding them. Yep.
And so building a whole other Minnetonka Boulevard.
Yes. And Minnetonka Boulevard will be the bridge to watch. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. I wish I had the renderings. We worked really closely with the city and the communities for the last 2.5 years in designing what that bridge does look like. There'll be some ornamental railings. It'll look very different than the Highway 7 bridge. It'll be very, very pretty. So that'll be the one to watch. So take a look at it now, take your pictures now, because when we're done with this, it'll be something entirely different. They're having decorative lighting and etc. When we drop Minnetonka Boulevard in April, it'll be probably late October until we can put traffic back on it again. They'll put the piers up, they'll put the rafters up, they'll put all that stuff up, but we won't put traffic back up there until, like I said, late October, early November. When we close Highway 7, we will reroute traffic to the Beltline Boulevard and to 36th, okay? When we close Minnetonka Boulevard, we'll detour people to Lake Street, down to Wooddale Avenue, and up to 7, and back to wherever they want to go.
You said when Minnetonka Boulevard Bridge is down, you're going to route the traffic on Lake Street. Lake Street and Minnetonka Boulevard are the same.
We'll take you down Lake Street to Wooddale and across 7. And then also on the other side of Minnetonka Boulevard, we'll take you on County Road 25, which is 7, or else we'll take you down Beltline. You'll be able to get through there. So you won't be able to get across the bridge. We will detour you around it on both directions. The buses also on the website, on our website, the buses are they're changing the time and the schedule. I'm not going to speak to that because it's a lot that I don't quite understand, and it's Metro Transit's deal. But they do have a link on our website that lets you talk about the buses, because there's a lot of bus routes on Minnetonka Boulevard. It's MnDOT, MnDOT.gov, G-O-V. So MnDOT.gov, G-O-V. I do want to get through to the other, a couple of the other projects, because the ones that I have coming up are going to affect you on 394. So hang on to your questions, if you can, if that's okay. I just want to kind of move along. Next I want to talk about is I-394 resurface. If you drive 394 at all, today, it seems to be always congested, especially that eastbound. What we're going to do is we're going to resurface it. We're going to take off that asphalt. It's about 2 inches of asphalt. We're going to take that off, and we're going to fix the road, the joints underneath it, and we're going to fix the concrete pavement over top. We're going to do an innovative diamond grinding, which is called a whisper grind, to try and lessen that noise. So it will no longer be asphalt, it will be concrete on that road. And the way that we smooth the surface is through this diamond grinding. So if you live in the area or you know anything about 10, 15 years ago, there was a lot of issues with noise in that Bryn Mawr neighborhood. But we're trying to reduce that by this diamond grinding, and it will work. So what that means for 394 is that we are taking down one side at a time, and it'll be 2 lanes of traffic only, and we're taking everybody to the HOV reversible lanes. So now those reversible lanes that we see up above, everybody is going to be up there. So back at right before Highway 100, it's around Louisiana Avenue, we will take traffic down, and we put it down to 2 lanes, and we will route everybody onto those HOV lanes. So currently, once you get to the top, transit and a lot of people go into downtown Minneapolis and they have 1 lane. It'll stay that way, so 1 lane will go to downtown Minneapolis and 1 lane will go to the tunnel. However, you're going to have a lot of people up there with you. Okay, so it's not just going to be the HOV Min Pass people. Everybody's going to be up there, buses and everybody. With this project, there is not a transit advantage and there's not an HOV Min Pass advantage. Everybody will be on those 2 lanes. That will be a 14-day project. 10 to 14. That's what we've told the contract, they have to be done in 14 days. So we will start on a Friday night and go for 14 days. With that, we're also taking out the Penn Avenue exit. You won't be able to use Penn Avenue as well. And if you are coming from Highway 100 and you want to get onto 394 East, you won't be able to do it. We're shutting that off. We need to try to lessen the traffic as much as we can on that eastbound 394 traffic. So what we're going to do with those people who are already in traffic on Highway 100 is we're going to take them up to 55. We're letting it in April, June. My guess is that we will take eastbound in June, and then we will wait till July 4th, and after the 4th, we will flip it over, and it'll be the same scenario on westbound. Then, once we're done with that, over here there's a bridge, the Lindale Bridge over Dunwoody. We're taking that down. That'll be down for 2 months. Okay, we will route people down into downtown Minneapolis. We'll route them onto Dunwoody and back onto 394 where they'll have to flip around. So if you drive this area at all, please be aware that this is going to be a big project. Real quickly, I just want to remove that asphalt layer. We do the diamond grinding. Oh, and also the frontage roads on the sides of 394. We're redoing those as well. So a lot of people think that they're going to take those roads. You probably won't be able to. The frontage roads, I think it's Hwy100 Boulevard. Those, well, we're going to resurface those as well, so there'll be some lane closures down there. So I told you all this. Highway 12, if you come from the way west like I do, just to let you know that we're building an auxiliary lane. This will not have any traffic impacts. This is one of the projects that we have that will not affect traffic until we're done. We're building that auxiliary lane between Highway 12, eastbound 12, between County Road 15 and the I-494 in Minnetonka. So what we're going to do right now is there's a lot of people that come on that road that want to get onto 494 or take Carlson Parkway, where they get their own designated lane. And if they want to get back onto 394, we're giving them more weave distance. We're giving them more time to weave back into the mainline traffic. So it'll be a safer project. This will have probably late night closures, maybe a weekend, not a full closure, just like a lane closure, and we'll have some weekend lane closures as well. The last project is the 494 rehab. This is sideways because it didn't have enough room. It is between 394 in Minnetonka and the I-494, 694 interchange in Maple Grove. That will be happening at the same time that Highway 100 is happening. So people need to know that because that is a north-south, it doesn't look it right now, but it is a north-south direction movement, and so is Highway 100. Most people are going to take 394 to cut across to get to the next one. Well, if you remember, I just told you, 394 is going to be down. So for 14 days. So this project, what it is, it's a repair project as well. We're going to repair the bridges, we're going to repair the road, but most importantly is we're adding that 3rd lane. We're adding a 3rd lane between Highway 55 and the 694-94 interchange. For traffic, what that means is that we will take, I believe it's 4 lanes now. We are taking that traffic and we are putting it 3 lanes of traffic on one side of the road. So in the mornings, it'll be southbound 2 lanes, northbound 1 lane. We're using movable barriers, so in the middle of the day, if you travel during the middle of the day, keep in mind it'll be down to 1 lane each way. We will move the barriers, so when you're coming home or going out for the weekend, it'll be 2 lanes northbound and then 1 lane southbound. This will be also for 2 years. We're starting with, we're going to move people onto the northbound side, so then we'll work on the southbound side, do the walls and everything on the southbound side. The following year, we'll put you on the southbound side and we'll work on the northbound side. One of the things with this project that is important to know is that we will have this, the first closure of, I have to see if I remember this, we're closing northbound, so there will be no northbound movement over a weekend on the same weekend that we have our first closure of Highway 100. So when we do the 494 will shut down the northbound side so we can get it all set up. So when Monday morning comes, we can have 2 lanes one direction, 1 lane the other. So we'll close that down. And the same weekend, chances are pretty good it's going to be in that same weekend that we do Highway 100. That weekend closure of Highway 100. So where are people going to go? Somebody said it, they're going to go to 169. It is over the weekend, keep that in mind. It'll be a Friday night to a Monday morning. So the average daily traffic counts, I just wanted to show you that, are 95,000, but in the year 2030, they're expected to be up to 132,000. So, yep. Install that 3rd lane. We're constructing some retention ponds and some noise barriers. All very exciting. Smoother roads, extend the life of the bridge, less congestion, and enhancing that capacity between 55 and 490 or 694, 94. So how we communicate. These meetings are great. I was so excited when I was invited here because this is just a great way to kind of kick this off. We do traditional news releases. We work closely with the local newspapers. If you're the Lakeshore Weekly, the Sun Countries, or the Sun Post, or whatever Sun it is, the Sun Current, we work closely with them. They want our stories, they'll print them. Also, we use, if you're any of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and you follow us, I suggest that you do. We shove out a lot of information that we just can't get to a news release. We hit it through Twitter and through Facebook. So if you don't follow us, I suggest that you do. And we also have these public meetings. We have meetings set up with the businesses, with the faith organizations. In St. Louis Park, I know, and I've done a ton of neighborhood meetings, and I will continue to do those throughout the projects. We do them with all of our projects. And last and not least is our constant contact list. If you go to our website, again, it was min.gov. On the side it says sign up here. Click on that, it has all of our projects. It says Highway 100 in St. Louis Park. You click on it, you put in your email address, and what that happens is we have weekly meetings for all of our projects. We talk about what's going to happen, traffic impacts, etc. I go back, I put it on our website, and the first people that hear about it are the people that are on that constant contact. I send out an email that says, hey, heads up, we're doing this. Keep that in mind. Then we tell our friends in the press. So the people that are on the constant contact list find out first. And now the press knows that we do that, so they get on our constant contact list. The point is that you hear it from me. So if you have questions, it can come back. It's that two-way conversation. So I encourage you to get on our website and sign up for Constant Contacts. Please, please, please sign up for Constant Contact and get this information firsthand from me. You can, if you've got a question, you can send it back to me and I can answer it the best that I can, and we'll get you prepared. One of the other ideas is that one I want to encourage you to is our 511 511MN, 511mn.com.org. There you go. So what that is, it's a map of the entire Twin Cities, and it lets you know, you can click on it, there's colors, what's under construction, if there's a crash site. I encourage you to go there. If you don't want to sign up for Twitter, you don't want to get a constant contact, before you head out, please look at 511 to see what's open and to see what's closed. All of our information goes right on there, so it can tell you what's closed and what's opened. 511mn.org. Don't forget the MN, because you won't get there. When we have those closures over the weekend, our deadline for us is Wednesdays. So if you're on Constant Contact, by Wednesday, you will get something that says, heads up, 494 is closed, so is Highway 100, so is 394, so is whatever. So we try to do that. So that's why get on that Constant Contact list. Right now for Highway 100, we have over 4,000 people signed up for that list. And that's a pretty big list. We do have incentives built into with our contractors to get this project done, so they're going to do whatever they can to get this project and 494 and 394 done in the allotted time that we give them, traffic or weather and all. He asked about the ramps being open and closed when we're closing down the side of the road. If obviously we're closing down southbound Highway 100, all the ramps to go to southbound, you're not obviously going to be able to do that. So we're going to take you over the roads and take you back onto them again. There will be lights. We are adding some lights around those intersections to try to control traffic. One of the ramps, we're taking away one of the ramps on 7 to go to Highway 100, and we're flipping it to the other side. So we're changing those geometrics entirely. So some of that, people had asked about that being a dangerous intersection. We are flipping that loop over to the other side of the road. And all that detail is all on the website. It's just a lot to see.
I live near Highway 100 in Minnetonka Blvd.
Yep.
I'm about 2 blocks from there.
Mm-hmm.
So while those Highway 100 is closed, you said those 2 weekends in April, how will people get to me? What will I tell them? I have a lot of people who are going to come to my house those weekends.
Yep.
How am I telling them the best way to get to me?
It's open to local traffic.
It's open to local traffic. How?
Just the same way how would they get to your house today?
They would take Highway 100 to Minnetonka Boulevard.
Okay, so Highway 100. Well, okay, so they're going to take Highway 100, or they're going to probably take 116. No, they'll go up probably. They will. Well, they'll probably go up to any other side. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure. Yeah, you know, we've had this discussion. You and I have had this discussion before, correct? Right? So, yeah, we have at one of the neighborhood meetings. But it's open. It's all open to local traffic. So any of the roads to get onto the local traffic and the local businesses will not be affected. What we are trying to do is to take all the traffic that's not going into St. Louis Park, take them around the project.
Okay, but I don't remember that we specifically discussed how people will get there when Highway 100 is closed from 394 to Crosstown.
Okay, so can they get off on 7?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but
Can they get off on 36th?
They could do, okay, so you're saying they can get off Highway 100 there?
They
Highway
can.
100 is going to be open?
It is not going to be open to through traffic. I mean, it'll be open to local traffic only. So that's kind of, it's really touchy. So what they'll try to do is that they're going to monitor the traffic, and if they see a lot of cars pushing through, they'll shut it down completely. They'll take people out to 694 and say you'll have to weave in through 169.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about the ramps on Minnetonka Boulevard? Are they going to be the same as they are now, or will we still be going north and southbound from Minnetonka Boulevard on 100?
They will be the same. We're pushing them out a little bit, so it's not such a direct line. We're just kind of widening them out a little bit. So they will be the same. I'm sorry?
Oh, we talked about that beforehand.
What? Is that the?
That's the same question I asked when we talked before.
Okay.
So going from east on Minnetonka Boulevard,
Uh-huh.
excuse me, on Highway 7,
7. You're going east.
going
Okay.
east on Highway 7, you're approaching 100.
Yep.
Right now, you have to make that
Yep.
curve around the
Yep.
bridge, where there's a lot of accidents.
Yep.
Okay.
This loop right here, we're getting rid of that. This little road right here, we're getting rid of that. We're going to flip it over here, and there's going to be a loop over here. And it'll be controlled by some lights here as well. So this traffic pattern right here will go away, and we'll flip it over.
Well, these projects all sound very useful. I think they're all things that we need, and I know that our construction season is short in Minnesota.
Yep.
But can you give me any rational reason why we're stacking them all on top of each other instead of staggering them?
Absolutely, and I was waiting for that question to come up, so thank you for asking, because it's asked a lot. There's a couple of factors that go in. Most of our bridges in the Twin Cities, the bridges and the roads were built at the same time. So they are getting to a point where we need to fix them at the same time. The second factor that goes into that is funding. We get funding, there's a start date and there's an end date, and we don't have the power, the state does not have the power to say, we want to take this project that whatever and move it into 2000 whatever. We just don't have that right to do that. So I know it's from the commuter standpoint or from the motor standpoint, it doesn't look like we stage these out, but we really do. We work with the counties and the cities closely to try and coordinate our projects. And the third thing is a lot of these roads, in 2017, we have 2 major projects happening in Minneapolis on 94 and on 35W. Those being down, and down is down, folks. I'm not trying to scare you, but down is going to be down. And then we're going to push everybody to these surrounding roads, and these surrounding roads need to be able to handle the influx of traffic that they're going to see.
Yes, oops, sorry. So I live in the Sorensen neighborhood, so it's bound by 107 Minnetonka. So how will I be identified as local traffic needing to get to my house as opposed to just drive-through traffic?
They'll have it closed right like underneath here, like around the bridges. You said 7, right?
Yeah, between 7 Minnetonka.
Yeah,
100.
7 right here. So they'll reroute traffic onto 36, local traffic onto 36. And again, that's why we're working closely with our cities. And our cities and the police departments are going to say, you know what? We're putting a lot of people into our neighborhoods that are not going to your house, that are trying to get up to wherever else they need to go. And we'll work with that, and we'll just have to kind of monitor that.
Okay, when you take the Minnetonka Bridge down, and you're going to detour people all over in different directions, what are you going to be able to do for the businesses that bank on drive-in business that now you're detouring away?
So again, we're closing down Minnetonka Boulevard. We'll close it down. We'll have a hard closure down at Beltline, and we'll have a hard closure down at Lake Street. Okay? So local traffic will have to go onto those roads and get off of those roads to the businesses that are in that area. One of the other things that we have done is to work closely with the businesses to help them get maps out to their customers, or put us a link on their website, or how to reach us. Just a lot of different ways that we're going to be able to do that. Again, we work closely with the businesses. That they want a map, it says, how can I tell my customers to get here? This is how you're going to get there.
North of Minnetonka Boulevard is an exit ramp off of 100 onto a side street.
Do we know what road that is?
26th or 27th.
Yeah, those will still all remain open then. Yep. On the website are these stages with the maps that are saying what's closed and what's opened during stage 1, stage 2, and when it's going to reopen. So I encourage you to look at those, to get on the website and look at those. Yeah.
Is there going to be a marked bypass detour for Highway 7 when the bridge is taken out?
Yes, it is. And that will come, one of the things, we get that question a lot too about the marked detours. Keep in mind, we don't want to put detours in place before it's really going to happen. So we do it typically 7 days before. So when we close down Minnetonka Boulevard, the signs will be up. Here's the detours, so keep that in mind.
I don't know if I really have a question or not. It's just after listening to all this and what's going on, it just seems to me that there's going to have to be a lot of improvising on us individuals.
Absolutely.
Patience. I mean, there's
Patience.
a lot of questions you can't answer right now.
Yep, and it's a lot of patience. I mean, it is, and it'll take some work on the motorist point, you know, to get onto 511, to plan their routes, to leave some extra time for going up wherever they're going, especially that early morning commute.
There's a lot of tourist traffic coming, you know, all the north-south routes. How do those people know what's going on? I mean, they get on Highway 100,
Yep.
it's going to be a mess.
Yep.
They're never going to get through there.
Yep. Again, we work closely with our partners. I mean like Three Rivers Parks District. We work with all the cities around. For the last 2.5 years, I've been doing nothing but presenting to cities and tourism boards and chambers of commerce to let people know that this is what's happening, help us get the word out. So it's just not MnDOT getting the word out. We work through a lot through our partners to help get that word out for those people that you're referring to.
All right, so with that, we're going to have Officer Nordy come, but while he's on his way, let's give Bobby a round of applause. Right now we'll have Officer Nordy. He's with the Brooklyn Center PD, and he was going to give us a little information about different construction statutes and safety tips for motorists as they're driving in this in these construction zones. So here's Officer Nordy.
I'm gonna throw this. Give me just a sec here to situate this. You can hear me all good? Good. Okay, well, how are you guys doing today? Good? They never tell me exactly how these are gonna go. They always start at, hey Greg, we need you to talk in front of a group of people about traffic. They never tell me that group's gonna be an angry mob that's mad because the entire highway around their house is completely getting ripped up. So You just never know, right? So here's the thing. I don't want to bore you guys today as far as you guys all look like intelligent people who know the rules of the road, okay? So I'm not going to sit there and tell you, slow down, don't text. We all know this. We know this from the day we do it. And I could stand up here and tell you guys, and you guys probably, the people who are going to text probably are still going to do it anyways. So that's my advice. Watch out for the people who are texting. Let's talk about some things that are going to affect you guys as people who are going to be driving on these roads, okay? We're going to have a couple factors. We're not going to know where we're going probably. We're not going to know the detours. What's that going to cause? It's going to cause accidents. It's going to cause technical problems. And those are the things that are really going to concern you guys as people of the community for a highway that is getting ripped up, okay? So let's talk about that for a sec, okay? You're on the highway, you get involved in an accident. What do we know about our construction zones? We know that most of the time our construction zones don't have shoulders, okay? This poses an interesting problem for you guys, poses an interesting problem for us, because now my job is to keep you guys safe. When you guys get in an accident, my job is to make sure that all of you guys walk away from that accident unharmed, okay? That's my goal at the end of the day, okay? You throw a construction zone into this, okay, where everyone's flying down the road, and I got about from me to you of a little distance between cars. That's a scary thing. It's a scary thing for me. It's even scarier for you guys because I do it on a daily basis. So let's talk about that for a sec. If you guys do happen to get into an accident, happen to have a technical problem, okay, the easiest thing you can do is get over as far as humanly possible. Even if you have to go into the actual construction zone, I guarantee you the construction people will understand, especially if you've just been involved in an accident, okay? The best thing that you can do is get over as far as you can. A lot of times, let's talk about our technical failures, a flat tire or, stalls are a little hard, but a flat tire is probably going to be more common in a construction zone. The problem that's going to happen with that is a lot of times people want to stop their car right where the tire blows. And it's a normal reaction, okay? Problem is that not only are we blocking a road, makes it very difficult for law enforcement to get to you. So sometimes in these construction things, we have to decide what's important, okay? You can, even if you have a flat tire, you can continue to drive your car, okay? Now, are we going to be driving at highway speeds? Absolutely not. We're going to be doing as little as humanly possible. But at least you're still, A, keeping traffic moving, and you're getting yourself to a safe spot, because that's important, okay? Your $100 car rim can always be replaced. Okay, those are the things that you got to really decide. And if you get into a bad spot, let's say you have a flat tire and you're on the highway and you're in the middle of it, like I said, even if you're going 3 miles an hour, at least you're still moving yourself somewhere where you guys can get safe. It's okay. Okay, let's talk about accidents for a sec. They're going to happen. It's a product of road construction. More accidents. Okay. So what can you guys do as far as accidents? Well, slow down. I had to say it once. Slow down. Don't text. There you go. I said it once. I won't say it again. That'll help you guys prevent your accidents. That'll help you guys stay out of them. The interesting thing is, unfortunately, we live in Minnesota, and we have weather to deal with roads. Yet another wrench into our problem. So especially in the construction zones, during the weather, give your guys a lot of time to get to where you're going. And I realize for a lot of you, that is tough. It's tough for me. I live in the North Metro. When they were doing the 169-610 interchange problem, I had to take 169 every day. I had to give myself at least an extra half hour. So I've been there. I know what it's like. It's awful. But I will tell you this, still traveling 169 every day, what MnDOT did with 169-610 and the Northern Metro up there, it makes my life so much easier. So I did have to put up with like 2 years of problems, but I'm sure that the powers that be that designed this road are going to make this so that it's a good place for you guys to go. So let's just talk a couple more things, then I'm going to get out of your hair. I know you guys want to get going here. I'll answer some questions as soon as I'm done here. Remember, for speeding, for those of you, I don't see anybody in the room I would think would speed. I'm going to say that I tried to make that a joke. Remember, your fine's double. If there is a speed change on a construction zone, they are going to post the speed, okay? Is it always the most clear? I don't know. I don't put the signs up. But just make sure you guys are paying attention, okay? Because those speed zones are going to drop in the construction zones. And pretty much beyond that, the rest of it all goes to you guys. Drive safe, watch what you're doing, don't text, slow down, and you guys should all be fine. I know it's going to be a long project. It's gonna be some patience involved, but I think it'll all be better for you guys. So when you guys go to driver school, they tell you a car distance, okay? If you guys can, you're going to want to probably double that, at least 2 car lengths. Is that going to be practical all the time? Absolutely not. So my best advice is keep as much space as you guys feel comfortable keeping. Everybody here is a different skill level of driver. Everybody's different. So keep that in mind when you guys are doing that. That's my best answer for you. It's up to you as the driver to determine that, but 2 car lengths. Moving over for emergency vehicles, okay? That's a tough one. And honestly, this is something that the police department prepares for. Up in my city in Brooklyn Center, we just also this summer had construction on 100 and Brooklyn Boulevard. And this created a unique problem for us because we had that same problem. And those are 2 of our most used roadways in Brooklyn Center. So basically, it's something that the police department is going to prepare for. They're going to know that it is going to take them longer to get to this. Again, easiest thing you can do, slow down, get over as far as you can. If you got to stop the car, stop the vehicle. I will tell you this as a law enforcement officer, driving, okay, take away your stoplights and your stop signs. If you're in the middle of a road on a highway, let's just talk about highways, and you're going, it makes it very challenging when other motorists dynamite the brakes on the cops, because what ends up happening is we end up having to check up too, and we're trying to get somewhere, listen to our radios about what's going on. So I will say this, if you guys can, try to at least keep yourselves rolling. And this is going to be interesting for your construction zones, okay? This is something that maybe you guys haven't heard. As a law enforcement officer, this is something that I wish that I got more of an opportunity to tell you about. I don't know how the lane changes are going to be or what the lane situations are going to be in their particular areas. I will say this. For instance, in some of these 3-lane areas of Highway 100, when I doubt it's you guys, but some motorists, they see the lights and they go over 3 lanes of traffic. That is extremely dangerous. More dangerous for you than for me. I'm trained to make sure that I drive pretty much. We try to keep in the far right. But there's a lot of times, for instance, let's say I'm traveling down 100, I got to get off on Minnetonka Boulevard. I'm going to have to ride that far right lane instead of being far over to the left, okay? So if you happen to see somebody riding in that far lane, I would say move over either way, okay? Does that make sense? Move over, whatever is practical, okay? We can still drive down the middle of the road, okay? I know I myself probably follow way too close on a daily basis, as I know you are, and that's why I'm giving it to you in a more practical term of, I know, you know what I'm saying, so of course that is true, but.
We'll take one more question back here, and we'll close out.
I was alerted to ask you by a historical society lady who's at that information table back there that she's been getting complaints about people taking that historical rock from right there at Minnetonka Boulevard and Toledo Avenue. The highway department has been working very nicely with a group of us in St. Louis Park trying to save that rock garden there and then the curving wall on the promontory there. And people are supposed to leave those stones in place because they're not gonna disappear. So people shouldn't say, "Oh, I want a souvenir," you know. They're supposed to stay in place. What should we be taking license plate numbers if we see somebody stealing, or should we try to go up and discipline those people ourselves and say, "No"? I mean, what do you advise in the neighborhood there, or could you please maybe work with MnDOT and see if you could put police tape around that curving wall, or I don't know what should be done.
Yeah. Rock theft, it happens. No, you know, the interesting thing with that is that's probably a concern. I know which part of the city I'm in. I'm unfamiliar exactly which city is that. Is that St. Louis Park still? Okay, I assume so. One of your concerns that you're going to have to bring up is the St. Louis Park. It's probably something that they don't even know about. I didn't even know about that. It's something that they can maybe do. They can put up signs. They can, you know, if they got to police tape it, they can police tape it. But it is something, it's probably a problem that people don't actually realize. I mean, even me, I travel 100 down this way frequently. I didn't even know that that was necessarily a protected site of sorts. So, like I said, that would be my suggestion. Talk to St. Louis Park PD, see if there's anything that they can do. Highway Patrol might get involved, and MnDOT might get involved as well. In fact, my guess is that MnDOT has some sort of something that they can put in place that would keep people from actually obtaining the parts of that particular structure you're talking about. So.
All right, let's thank Officer Nordic for coming out this evening. And what we'll do right now is just close out, and we're right on time. Good. All right. So thanks again for everybody for coming out. I want to let you know that you have some sites and some resources that you can use. AAA Minneapolis, particularly if you want to look into information that was presented tonight and want to keep up to date on lane closures, on different routes you can take, on those safety tips. Please utilize AAA Minneapolis website, minneapolis.aaa.com/Hwy100, and we will keep you up to date throughout this entire construction season, specifically on the projects that you heard tonight. So if you want to bypass all the things they have on MnDOT and focus just on those that you heard tonight, that website, AAA Minneapolis, will be a fantastic source for you. Thanks again for coming out, everybody. I hope you got a lot of information out of this. We will be following up with you just to get a sense of ideas you might have and suggestions for future forum topics. But thanks again, and have a great night. Drive safe.